As I mentioned yesterday, if you happen to watch, love and holiness are two significant themes in First Thessalonians. In fact, between chapter 3, verse 13 and chapter 4, verse 7, Paul uses the word holiness 3 times just in those 8 verses. And in chapter 4, he's talking specifically about our bodies and how we use our bodies and not giving ourselves over to lustful passion like the Gentiles, but that we learn how to control your own body. Learn to control your own body in holiness and in honor. And then he sums it up in our verse of the day, which is chapter 4, verse 7. For God did not call us to impurity, but in holiness. So what is holiness anyway? What does it mean if something is holy? Sometimes people tend to associate holiness with morality. But holiness, in the biblical sense, first of all means to be set apart. So God is holy because God is set apart from all of creation, from all of human life. God is unique. God is set apart. So being called to holiness, as Christians are, means we are called to be set apart from the culture in which we live. We do not live in a Christian culture. We don't live in the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God has not fully come to earth. So until that day comes, as Christians, we are called to live a life set apart or different from the mainstream culture. When I was in my early 20s, I had a Christian t-shirt, and it had a verse from Romans on it. Romans 12, 1-2 was the reference, and it was the symbol of a Christian fish, which you can picture, right? Just that very simple fish with the tail. And that fish was in a box, and there are all different types of sea creatures swimming in one direction. And the only thing going the other direction was that simple Christian fish symbol. And that was the t-shirt's way of communicating, as a Christian, I'm swimming against the tide. I'm swimming against the mainstream of the culture in which I live. And that is certainly, it was true in my 20s, and it's certainly true today in our culture. So part of being a Christian, the New Testament tells us, is learning with being okay with and comfortable with, I am not part of the mainstream. I am not part of mainstream culture because I am a follower of Christ. And so my values, my priorities, how I'm going to use my resources, how I'm going to love people, that's all going to be shaped by Jesus. And I'm going to strive to be holy. I hope you are too.